one such property is capillarity. I'll explain you first what is capillarity or capillary rise. Then we will go with the definition. Okay. You might have heard this term capillarity whenever we deal with groundwaters. We used to say that there is a capillary rise of water in the ground, all such terms. So what is capillarity is, suppose I am having a beaker, I am just going to fill it with water and I am going to immerse a glass tube which is open at both the ends. I am going to immerse it in such a way that it is vertical. It is kept vertical. So what happens that you could observe that this liquid will start rising in this tube. And this rise is said to be your capillary rise. Okay, so this is your height h to which the liquid is raised, and this is the level of the liquid where it gets raised. So this level is given by this. It makes an angle theta with set of the horizontal. So this is sigma, that is your surface tension. So what is capillarity is? Capillarity is defined as a rise or fall of the liquid in a small tube which is open at both ends with respect to the adjacent level of fluid. I am giving you as fluid because we are going to consider both the case, rise and fall. Okay, so adjacent level of fluids such that the tube is kept vertical. So what happens here? The tube is kept vertical here and the tube is open at both the ends. So what happens when you keep it in the case of water? The water will rise up inside the tube. So that is said to be capillarity rise or capillary rise. But what happens if you keep it in case of mercury? The same beaker, here I am going to fill it with mercury. I am going to keep once again the same tube, okay, of this diameter d. What happens here? Will the mercury will rise up in this tube? No, definitely not. It will be there, the rise will be there, but not it's like a rise, it's like a depression. That's why you will get like this. So normally how we say this as depression is with the help of or with respect to the adjacent level of the liquid layer. Here see here the adjacent level of the liquid is here. So with respect to this adjacent level, this water is increased. So it is said to be raised. But here with respect to this adjacent level, this mercury is, though it is increased in the tube, it is compared to this adjacent level, it is less. So it is said to be fall. Okay. So this is your tension and this is your angle theta. Okay. So that's why what is capillarity? It is defined as a rise or fall of liquid, or you can say instead of liquid you can say fluid also. Okay, both liquid, mercury or this one. Okay, rise and fall of liquid or fluid in a small tube which is open at both the ends. So the tube is open at both the ends with respect to the adjacent level of fluid. Okay, with respect to the adjacent level of fluid, such that the tube is kept as vertical. So here the tube is kept vertical. So what is the rise of the fluid with respect to the adjacent level? Or what is the fall of the fluid or fall of the liquid with respect to the adjacent level? Then it is said to be the capillarity. If you are not, if you are not comfortable with this fluid, you can give even liquid. Since both these are liquid, mercury and water, you can give it up as liquid also, no issues. Because normally fluid we have the term that fluid is having both gas as well as liquid. You can give it up as liquid also, no issues. Okay. So this is what capillary rise and this is called capillary fall. So now we are going to see what is the expression expression for finding out this capillary rise and what is the expression for finding out the capillary fall? That is how much it's going to rise, how much it's going to fall. So how to do this? Actually, what is the concept here is the weight of the liquid at the surface for the height of h, that is balanced by the force that is acting on the surface of this tube. So the force what is acting on the surface of the tube is called as surface tension force. Okay. So at equilibrium condition, what we say this, the weight of this liquid with respect to height h will be balanced by surface tensile of this liquid. So at equilibrium it is balanced, means it is opposite to each other. So we have to equate to these things. One is the vertical component of the surface tensile of the surface tensile force along with that of the weight of the liquid. So what is the expression for weight? We know that weight is equal to volume into density. How we got this relation? We know density is equal to, say we are saying just mass density or weight density. Since we are dealing with weight, weight density is equal to weight by volume. So this property we have studied already. Am I right? So what is weight? Density into volume. So here I am giving it volume into density. Density is rho. Okay. So weight of the liquid with respect to h will be volume into density. But this weight we always speak with respect to that of the gravity. Okay, because of the gravity only we are, this rise is been happening or the fall is been happening. Okay, so here since this is, it's not a mass density, it's a weight density, we have to give it the value rho into g. Okay, so g is acceleration due to gravity, density is rho, and v is your volume. Okay, so density you know it is rho. G is your acceleration due to gravity, since we are dealing with the gravitational weight. And volume here is, what is the usual formula for volume? It is area into height. Okay, so here what is the area of the tube is? Since it is a cylindrical tube, we are giving it as pi by 4 d square into height. So this is your volume. So volume is pi by 4 d square into height into density is rho into g is acceleration due to gravity. Then what are the other equations we have to find out? We have to find out what is the vertical component of the surface tensile of this liquid force. Okay. So what is that? We are not concerned about the horizontal component. We are concerned about the vertical components. Okay. So in this case, what is that? Is your formula usually for surface tension, how we did it? Surface tension force into circumference. Right. That is what we have derived in the surface tension equation also. So surface tension force into circumference into the vertical component. So the vertical component here is, what is the vertical component? This vertical component is adjacent side by hypotenuse. Adjacent side by hypotenuse is cos theta. So here it is cos theta. You remember the basic? So what is sin theta? Sin theta is opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse. So those things you have to remember it up. So sigma into circumference into cos theta. So what is circumference? In the case of this tube, it is pi into d into cos theta. Am I right? So as for equilibrium condition, we have to equate this equation number 1 and we have to equate the equation number 2. So this term is very important at equilibrium or for equilibrium. Equate 1 and 2. So here what is it? Pi by 4 d square into h into rho into g is equal to sigma into pi d into cos theta. Okay, so whatever the common terms there, we can strike it out. So h is equal to, here we have d, we can strike it out on d, pi we can strike it out. So h is equal to sigma cos theta, and this 4 will come towards here in the numerator, 4 sigma cos theta by rho gd. Am I right? 4 sigma cos theta by rho gd. So where is the difference comes is this value of cos theta. In case of water, the value of cos theta, that is the angle of contact between the glass tube and water, now that angle is taken as 0. So usually cos 0 is equal to 1. So this equation will become 4 sigma by rho GD. That is in case of water, or we can say that it is your capillary rise formula, because rise will happen in case of your liquid is water. So H is equal to 4 sigma by rho GD. So what happens in case of mercury? The equations are same. Only thing here what will come is, instead of this cos theta, instead of the theta value, instead of 0 degrees, here for this mercury, the theta value is 128 degree, but normally it will be given as 130 degree as a round off. So this value of theta is for mercury, and the value for theta for water is 0. Okay, so in that case, for the capillary fall, the equation will be the same, but H is equal to 4 sigma cos theta by rho GD, but where cos theta is equal to, or theta is equal to 130 degree. If it is specified in the problem, we can take the same degrees, 128 or 130 degrees, anything you can take it up here. So this is the equation. This is the case of mercury. In case of water, the equation is reduced to be H is equal to 4 sigma by rho GD, as theta is equal to 0 and cos 0 is equal to 1. Is it understood? Okay guys, now we will go for a problem. Let's continue with these problems. So these are the problems for capillarity. First, you know the problem. Calculate the capillary rise in a glass tube of 2.5 mm diameter when immersed vertically in water as well as in mercury. Take surface tension sigma is equal to 0.0725 for water and sigma is equal to 0.52 Newton per meter for mercury in contact with air. The specific gravity for mercury is given as 13.6 and angle of contact is given as 130 degree. So whenever such problem is given, first what is your job? How to write out what is the given details. So they have given both for case of mercury and water. So diameter of the tube is given 2.5 mm. Okay, surface tension sigma I am giving with respect to water as well as with respect to mercury. So with respect to water it is 0.0725 Newton per meter, and with respect to mercury it is 0.52 Newton per meter. Right. Specific gravity for mercury. Specific gravity is S1. So specific gravity of mercury is 13.6 and angle of contact theta is equal to 130 degree. This contact is from mercury. So what they ask you to find out? They ask you to find out the capillary rise and capillary fall. So in case of water, what is the formula for finding out the capillary rise? Just now we have derived. H is equal to 4 sigma by rho GD. We are not considering cos theta because cos theta is 0 and cos 0 is 1. So in case of water we have only this equation. Alright, just mere substitution here. But please confirm everything is as the same unit. So here this are a Newton per meter, specific gravity does not have any unit, theta is 130 degree, that's okay. But what about the diameter? Here it is in mm. Please convert into meters. So 2.5 mm is 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 meters. So here it will be 4 into sigma. This is the case of water. So for case of water, what is the sigma value? 0.0725. Rho GD. So what is your rho? Rho is not given in your problem. You have to take it out as rho is 1000 because it is of water. Right, it is the density of water is 1000, we have already seen. And G is acceleration due to gravity. It's 9.81. And D is your diameter. Diameter is same for both the case since the tube is same. So it is 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 meters. So remember this rho in cases if they are not given, you have to assume for water it's always 1000. Okay, if it is for mercury, we can calculate it by using the formula. But for water you have to take it as 1000 and G is 9.81. D is what is given in the problem. Just substitute here. The H value what you get it is 0.0118 meters. Say it is 1.18 centimeters. Why? Normally we don't give this height in the tube in meters. We have to give it in centimeters. So appropriate units we have to transfer it before we do this answer. So it is, we are converting this meters once again into centimeters. So H is equal to 1.18 centimeters. So first part is over. That is you have found out for water. Now the second part is you have to find out for mercury. So in case of mercury, the formula is same, am I right? But here instead of 4 sigma, we will be having here 1 cos theta in addition. So in case of mercury, the formula is same. So 4 is okay. Sigma is varies here. Sigma for mercury is 0.52 and cos theta is varies since theta is equal to 130 degrees. So it is cos 130 degree and definitely rho is different. Rho is a density. So what is density? In terms of specific gravity. So specific gravity is equal to density of any fluid divided by density of standard fluid. So standard fluid here is usually we will take it as water. So if I want to find out the density of this mercury, specific gravity of mercury into density of water. So what is specific gravity of mercury? 13.6. Density of water is 1000. So is equal to, that is your density of your fluid mercury. Right. So here we are giving it as 13.6 into 1000. Is it clear? G is same 9.81. Diameter is same since the tube is same. So only thing is you have to change in the sigma, cos theta as well as rho. Just substitute here. So what is the answer you get here is H is equal to 0.004 meters. But it has to be in negative. Why? Because it is not rise, it is a fall. Okay. So here when we convert into centimeters, it is minus 0.4 centimeters. Okay, so please try to practice more with calculator so that you will be able to get the answer very quickly. Okay, so H is equal to minus 0.4 centimeter. We can give it like this. Otherwise, you can express as H is equal to 0.4 centimeter. In the bracket, you can have fall or you can give depression. That indicates that it is negative. Okay, so you have got the value for both the for mercury as well as for water, the capillarity, rise and fall. Find out the minimum size of. So repeat, what is the next problem? Find out the minimum size of glass tube that can be used to measure water level if the capillarity rise in the tube is to be restricted to 2 mm. Remember, this is not diameter, it is a capillary rise in the tube. Consider surface tension of water in contact with air as 0.073575 Newton per meter. So what is asked here? They asked you to find out the minimum size of glass tube. Minimum size of glass tube is diameter is asked. Am I right? It's very simple. And they have given capillary rise, so it is water. So you know the formula. Just now we have had it. H is equal to 4 sigma by rho GD. Because cos theta, cos 0 is 1. So cos theta here will be equal to 1. So that is we are neglecting the cos theta term here in case of water. But if it is mercury, we have to keep it up here. So H is equal to 4 sigma by rho GD. Okay. So what are the other details given here? The capillary rise is given. Capillary rise in sense it is sketched. H is given 2 mm, convert into meter, it is 2 into 10 power minus 3 meters. Consider the surface tension, sigma is given, it is 0.073575 Newton per meter. So here what is the values, unknown values? Rho for water we know it is 1000, G it is 9.81, so the other things we can substitute. So H is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 3 is equal to 4 into sigma is 0.073575 divided by rho is 1000, G is 9.81 and diameter is what is asked. So everything is in meters, Newton and meters. So what's the answer you are getting will be also in meters. So diameter here is 0.015 meters. And normally we don't say the diameters in meters, we have to convert into centimeters. So when you convert here centimeters, diameter will be 1.5 centimeter. I just recall how it is that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So I am multiplying this value 0.015 into 100. So I am getting the value diameter is 1.5 centimeters. Okay. So the minimum diameter for the tube should be 1.5 centimeters. Is it clear? Now you could understand these two problems is a mere substitution, but you have to understand the question what is asked. Here the capillary rise or fall is asked, but whereas here the diameter is asked. So first read the questions properly, get the given details, then find out what is asked and what we have to do, what is the formula we are using here. Then check the units whether it is of same units, that is preferably we go with newtons and meters, so that there will not be any unit clash when you substitute in these equations. And finally you convert to the respective units. It is in centimeters if it is in the case of diameter. If it is in the case of height, you can give it in terms of centimeters. So what is capillarity and what is how to derive the equation, and whether we have seen some problems also. Now we will go for the other two properties of fluid. One is compressibility and other one is bulk modulus. So this both are interrelated. I will say you how. See, consider any piston. So this piston is applied with the initial force of P. So when it gets applied, the volume here is, initial volume is V. Okay, here you have any fluid or some gas. Now what you are going to do is, you are going to increase the pressure from P to dP. That is increase of pressure. So what happens here? The volume will get decreased. Right? It will be moving from this position to this position when you are giving pressure. So the volume will get decreased. So what is bulk modulus? Normally we have a definition that bulk modulus is equal to volumetric stress by volumetric strain. Any modulus is change in of stress by strain. So here we are getting volumetric stress by volumetric strain. Instead of using volumetric stress, I am using here compressive stress. Why? Because the piston is being compressed now, so we are giving the term compressive stress by volumetric strain. Okay. So here what happens here? The pressure is, initial pressure is P and change of pressure is dP. Okay. And initial volume is V and change of volume is dV. So what is volumetric strain? So volumetric strain is change in volume by original volume. So that is the definition you will be studying in strength of materials. Change in volume by original volume. So here what is the change in volume? We have said it is dV. From initial position it is moved to this position. Okay, dV, and original volume is V. But remember, this change in volume is not increased. Here it is cases, it is decreased. From originally it was here the volume, and it is being now decreased to this extent. Okay, so that we are giving this by negative sign. So volumetric strain is minus dV by V, and stress here we are giving in terms of pressure. So what is the increase of pressure here? It is dP. Okay, so what is bulk modulus? Bulk modulus is usually given by the symbol K, capital K. So K is equal to increase in pressure is increase in pressure divided by this volumetric strain. Okay. So increase in pressure is dP, volumetric strain is minus dV by V. So this is your bulk modulus. Okay, remember this. Then what is this compressibility? Compressibility is the reciprocal of this bulk modulus, that is 1 by K. What is compressibility? It is a reciprocal of the bulk modulus of elasticity, it is 1 by K. Here, have you understand what is bulk modulus? So bulk modulus is compressive stress by volumetric strain. Volumetric strain is change in volume by original volume, so we have got it. So compressive stress we are giving in terms of pressure, increase in pressure. So stress is always pressure or force. Okay, so here we are giving it in terms of pressure. So increase in pressure is dP, and volumetric strain is minus dV by V. Why it is negative? Because the volume is getting reduced. Okay. So this is the volume, this is the formula for your bulk modulus. So what is compressibility? Compressibility is the reciprocal of the bulk modulus. So it is 1 by T. Now we will see what is the relation that connects between this bulk modulus and pressure P for a gas. So we have two processes, one is isothermal process and other one is adiabatic process. So we will see what is the relation that connects between the bulk modulus is given by the symbol K, okay, and pressure P. That too we are doing for a gas, okay, bulk modulus K with it of the pressure P for a gas. So in case of isothermal process, so we have, as I said, we have two processes. One is isothermal process, you might have studied in your chemistry, isothermal process and adiabatic process. So what is the equation for isothermal processes? P by rho is equal to constant. Okay, in other words we can see that it is PV is equal to constant, where volume is equal to 1 by rho. Mass we are keeping it as 1. Therefore, since volume is, see this symbol shows that it's a since. Normally this we do it as therefore, right? So this is inverse of that is since. So since volume is equal to 1 by rho, we are considering that mass is 1. So volume is 1 by rho, PV is equal to constant. So what we are doing is we are going to differentiate these equations, okay, with respect to P as well as V. So on differentiating, with respect to P and V, that is with respect to pressure and volume, we get P, keep it P as constant, differentiate V, it is dV, okay, plus keep V as constant, differentiate P, it is dP, is equal to 0. Okay, so what do you bring it this to the other side, P dV equal to minus of V dP. Alright, so what is P? P is minus V dP by dV. Okay, so substitute in this equation 1. What is this? What is P? K is dP by minus dV by V. Na? The same, what is it? It is minus of V dP by dV. So if you rearrange this, how it will be? K is equal to minus of V dP by dV. So both the equations are same. So when you substitute here and here, what is the value? K is equal to P. That is, in case of isothermal process, the bulk modulus is directly proportional to that of or is equal to that pressure of the gas. Okay. Now we will go for the adiabatic process. So we will go with the next process, that is your adiabatic process. So here what is the equation is? P by rho K equal to constant. The same thing, but we are giving one more thing, that is a constant K. Okay. So that is called as a rate constant or rate of specific heat. So it will be, how you write this? Once again the same formula, P Vk equal to constant. How we have made here? PV the same way, PVK is equal to constant. That is, since volume is equal to 1 by density, why we are considered 1? Its mass is 1. Okay, now we have the equation PVK equal to constant. Now you differentiate it the same way. What do you do here? Differentiate with respect to P as well as V. Okay, so what you keep it as P separately, differentiate this. What is it? It is K now. So pull it down. Differentiation of V is V K minus 1. What is it usually differentiation? Bring the power down and subtract the power by minus 1. Okay. into dV. Why? Since it is a constant, we are giving the value dV. Plus, keep this Vk is constant. Differentiate this pressure with respect to pressure. So it is dP. So that is equal to 0. Clear? So here what is that? Vk, how we are differentiating it up? We are bringing the power down, and in the power we are minusing it by 1. So V is, it will become K minus 1 into dV. Differentiation of volume is dV. Plus Vk is constant, but we are differentiating the pressure, so it becomes dP. So now what you do is neglect this term since it's very negligible, okay, or we can cancel it. So here we can get Pk dV plus Vk dP is equal to 0. So you can neglecting it up or you can cancel it on both the sides, both the same. Neglect Vk minus 1 since it's very negligible. Okay. So Pk dV plus Vk dP, Vk into dP is equal to 0. Now I am removing this K is also, so we are giving only in terms of volumes. Okay. So what happens here? Pk dV plus VdP is equal to 0. So what is Pk dV? It is equal to V into dP. So what is the value of Pk? VdP by dV. Am I right? So here I am bringing this to the right hand side, so it becomes negative. So I am bringing this from positive to negative, it is negative, so this will become negative. So Pk is equal to minus VdP by dV. Okay. Now you substitute in the same equation. Already we have known what is K. So K we have given that as minus V dP by dV. Okay. So see here minus V dP by dV. What is K? It is a bulk modulus. Am I right? So here this is value is my bulk modulus capital K, and this is my small k, that is your rate constant. So for capital K I am giving this. Oh, okay. So this is my capital K and this is my small k. Okay, where this capital K, that is called as bulk modulus from the definition. You can write it here from equation 1. And the small k, that is called as rate of heat, or we can say rate of specific heat. Is it clear? So these are the two expressions which connects the relationship between the bulk modulus and the pressure. So in case of isothermal process, it is equal. K is equal to P, that is pressure is equal to bulk modulus. But in case of adiabatic process, bulk modulus is equal to rate constant into pressure. Okay, so that is the difference we have there. Now we will see some problems. We will go with this problem. This is related with the bulk modulus of elasticity. So what is the problem? Determine the bulk modulus of elasticity of a liquid. If the pressure of the liquid is increased from 70 Newton per centimeter to 130 Newton per centimeter square, the volume of the liquid decreases by 0.15%. So what is the formula for bulk modulus? You know, bulk modulus K is equal to dP by minus of dV by d. Am I right? So here what is that said? They have given the pressure, but they have not given directly the increase in pressure, but instead they have given it is from this to this, it has been traced. Okay. So what is the initial pressure? Initial pressure is 70 Newton per centimeter square. So what is the final pressure? 130 Newton per centimeter square. So what is the increase in pressure? Increase in pressure is, that is your dP, that is equal to final pressure minus initial pressure. So 130 minus 70, it is 60. Let the unit be Newton per centimeter square itself. Need not transfer it up. So dV by V is, it is a change in the volume. Am I right? So what you have given? The volume of the liquid decreased by 0.15%. So they themselves they have given us decreased. So need not give this value of minus. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to find out what is the volume, how it is decreased. Decreases 0.15. So with respect to percent means what is the original volume then? It is 100. Okay. So what is dV by V? We are having minus dV by V. But this minus we are removing it up because we have given it's already decreased. So we have given the term. So you can take it up directly as positive. It is 0.15. That is your change in the volume. Divide by original volume is 100 because it is 0.15%. So it is 100. So here there is no volume by volume is the unit is cancelled now. So there is no unit for this. You will get only as a percentage. So you are giving us percentage of values. So just substitute in this equation. So what is K? dP is known 60 Newton per centimeter square and minus dV by V. Since it is decreased, we are giving only this value. It is 0.15 divided by 100. Okay. The term decrease and negative are both in same. Okay. So just you substitute here. So what is the answer you get? 60 into 100. This will become numerator by 0.15. So what is the value of bulk modulus? So the value of bulk modulus is, when you solve this, you are getting 4 into 10 to the power 4. So what is the value unit? Newton per centimeter square. Why? This denomination has no unit. Only the numerator has a unit. And the numerator unit is what is that? Newton per centimeter square. So the same unit comes for this bulk modulus here. It is 4 into 10 power 4 Newton per centimeter square. Okay. So we'll go for the question cylinder. What from a volume of this at 80 Newton per centimeter square pressure to a volume of this at 150 Newton per centimeter square pressure. So from this problem we should be able to understand that initial volume is given, final volume is given. Similarly, initial pressure we have, final pressure is given. So it is very easy for us to find out what is the decrease in volume and what is the increase in pressure. The formula remains the same. K is equal to dP minus dV by V. Okay. We have to find out what is dP. So initial pressure is how much they have given? Initial pressure is 80. Right. So initial pressure is 80 Newton per centimeter square. So final pressure is 150 Newton per centimeter square. So what is it? It is increased. Okay. So the increase in pressure is final pressure minus initial pressure. Final pressure minus initial pressure. So final pressure is how much? 150. Initial pressure is how much? 80. So it is 70 Newton per centimeter square. So that you have got it up. Now what is dV by V? dV is change in the volume or decrease in the volume and to that of the original volume. So what is given here? This compressed cylinder from a volume of this to the volume of this. Okay. So initial volume is your original volume. So that is 0.0125 meter cube. So what is the final volume? Final volume is 0.0124 meter cube. So what is the decrease in volume? How the volume has been gone here? It is from initial to final, it is get decreased. Okay, so the decrease in volume, that is what we want, dV. So that is final volume minus initial volume. So it is automatically the value will be negative. Am I right? So what is this value? You just substitute it, you will get it up. Please convert into, this is meter cube, so you have it as a meter cube itself. So the value will be 0.0001 meter cube. So you know decrease in volume, you know increase in pressure, that is your dP. You know what is the initial volume? Initial volume is V. So that's all. You can substitute in this equation for bulk modulus. So bulk modulus dP will be 70 Newton per centimeter square. So this is it, Newton per centimeter square, and minus dV. dV is what is the change in the volume? It is 0.0001. And volume is, original volume is 0.0125. You may have a doubt why here we have given in centimeter and why we have given here in meter. As per the rule, we have to change it up. But what I say is, here both the things have the same unit, same meter and meter. Am I right? Here the decrease in volume is also meter and initial volume is also in meter. So both will get cancelled. So it does not affect this answer of dP. Whether the dP is in centimeter or in meter, it's not going to affect it. So though here we are giving it up in centimeter and this two values in meter, it is not going to affect because this two meter will get cancelled, or we can say meter cube by meter cube will get cancelled. So we will be having only Newton per centimeter square. So just you can substitute it and you can solve this. And once again, as I said, decrease in volume is already given here. So no need to give this negative symbol because it's already the value itself is given in decrease way. So what is the answer you get it as? K is equal to, that is your K. What is your K? K is your bulk modulus. It is 8.75 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per centimeter square. So what is the unit here? The same unit you can give it up here. Okay, so 8.75 into 10 power 3 Newton per centimeter square. So we'll just recall what we have seen in this class. So in the afternoon, we have seen what is capillarity, what is capillary rise and what is capillary fall, and we have derived the equation with capillarity rise and capillary fall, and apart from that we have seen what is compressibility and what is bulk modulus. And we have derived an example for this relation of bulk modulus with respect to the pressure in case of isothermal process as well as in adiabatic process. And with respect to capillarity, we have seen some problems, and with that of your bulk modulus, we have seen some problems. Okay guys, the next class we will go over some other interesting topic. Thank you.